Welcome to LabMinutes.com in the lab video series on Cisco Firepower 6.7. This is Mehta, your instructor for this video series. For a complete list of Firepower videos, you can visit our website at the security section. There you can also sign up for our newsletters to receive the latest video updates. Welcome back to yet another LabMinutes security video series, and this time around we are going to cover Cisco Firepower. I have to say that it's been a long time since we looked at Cisco Firepower. Although we covered the topic pretty extensively in the past, things started to get a little outdated. Maybe not so much on the technology side, but more on the GUI that has been modernized to align with the other Cisco products. So I figured it is probably a good time to do a big refresh on this topic and also see what features have been added since we last looked at this. In the first video here, we are going to take it easy and get you introduced to the Firepower product families and require hardware and software components to run the solution. If you have had some experiences with Firepower in the past, but not recently, you might still want to go through this video to get some ideas of the latest platform updates. And we will be discussing licensing as well towards the end of this video. So let's get to that. But first, let me give you a little history so you can understand how far their products have come. As you know, Cisco have been in the firewall business forever, since the days of the Cisco PIX firewall, if you remember that, in the late 90s, and then the ASA. While they were great solid firewall, it only operated in the port protocol level. Around 2011-2012, I would say the next generation firewall was introduced and becoming the next big things, and Cisco was trying to tackle that with a Cisco ASA CX platform, if some of you guys may remember, which LabMinutes did cover pretty extensively also, but that did not really take off. Once Cisco realized that, it went out and acquired one of the competitors called SourceFired, and that was when things started to change. While SourceFired was a separate product, Cisco quickly integrated it into its ASA platform and rebranded it to ASA Firepower, and that was when we, LabMinutes, first take a look at the technology. That was like a version 5.x of the SourceFired or Firepower. Right? With the ASA Firepower, you still run the ASA code to handle the traditional firewall functions, with the Firepower services running on top to handle the next generation Layer 7 inspection. At that point, you would continue to manage the ASA platform via the CLI or ASDM, and then use the, at the time called Fireside Manager server to manage the Firepower portion of it. Although it was kind of clunky, it worked at the time. Then kind of fast forward to the few years later, when we got to the version 6.1, Cisco came out with a unified image that allows you to convert supported ASA platforms into an FTD device that can handle all firewall functions inline. And this is pretty much layer 3 all the way to layer 7 and be fully managed by the Firepower Management Center. Both networking and the next generation firewall aspects of the firewall included. At that point, the CLI is only used for monitoring and troubleshooting, right? Because you would be doing all the configuration from either the built-in FDM or Firepower Device Manager or a centralized server, which is the Firepower Management Center. Fast forwarding again to where we are right now, which is the Firepower version 6.7. A lot of things have happened, especially on the hardware front. The ASA 5500X product line that we all loved is now reaching end of sale and being replaced by the Firepower appliances. So we're not going to mention ASA hardware in this video for that reason. The same goes with the NG-IPSV, right, which is the next-gen IPS that's running in the virtual environment. We're not going to talk about that as well because it's becoming end of sale. At this point, we can consider ASA Firepower and the NG-IPSV as legacy products, or if you read some of the documentation, it's now being referred to as the classic platform. From the software side of things, the core NGFW capabilities has not really changed since early version of 6.x. I would say that Cisco focus has been improving usabilities of the Firepower product, bringing more features over from the legacy ASA and bring that into more of the parity, especially around the VPN feature sets, and then also to support private and public cloud.